Hello, fellow captains, and welcome back to Microsoft Flight Simulator. We are going through the Northeast Megalopolis bush trip. We are currently on leg number 8, second to last leg, and this is going to be about a 22-minute flight from Philadelphia International to Martin State. Let's go ahead and hop in so we can see the overall route that we've been taking for this trip. We are heading from Portsmouth over there on the right over to Ronald Reagan Airport over there on the left. We are in the Diamond DA62 twin-engine aircraft. We will be taking off here in just a moment as we pop in, but as with every episode that we've done so far, we need to fix our GPS because the developers didn't bother to make it to where the GPS checks to see which leg you're on and actually make the next waypoint the next waypoint. So while we're waiting for this to load, we'll get ourselves mentally prepared for that. Hopping over into... Ooh. Whoa, what's going on here? Okay, it hasn't done that before. Okay, so the next waypoint we need is POI 47. We have to do this for every single flight because look, it's set to waypoint number 4. So I really wish that the developers would go in and fix that because it's extremely annoying to have to do this every single time, but we got to do this. So POI 47, right? That's what we were looking for. And I got to be very careful not to move my mouse as I do this because if I go off the particular scroll wheel that I'm working on, then it's not going to work. I really wish that they had a touchscreen version where you could just scroll down and not have to do this. 47, I believe, is the number we were looking for, right? Was it 47 or 43? I don't remember. Nope, 47. So we'll keep going down until we find 47, and then we'll do direct to, there we go, direct to 47. So boom, and then down, down, and enter. There we go. Now we're all set. Let's see. I don't think we have anything else that we need to do. We'll turn the pitot heat on because it is cold for this particular bush trip. Let's see. Is there an indicator somewhere that I keep forgetting to check this. Is there an indicator that gives me my pitch trim, or I'd like to know where my pitch trim information is. I never really thought to look for that, and every time I take off, I end up having to add a bunch of pitch trim. Well, whatever. We need to get into the air. You guys aren't sitting here trying to watch me do this. Let's get up into the air, and we'll figure all that out as we get up. Oh, I forgot to set all my autopilot information because it takes so long for me to get through that. I know you guys are going to be bored sitting there watching me fiddle around with all my flight controls and instruments and stuff, but I guess the more hardcore people will be very interested in that. So I think we're good. Let's get our landing gear up. I'm gonna actually pop down in here so we can get rid of the flight plan window, and that's not in the way. Let's get our CDI. All right, so it's already set the GPS. Let's get our set the nav, our GPS set the nav, and all of that. We'll set our altitude. I always forget to set my. You have to set your altitude first because it immediately tries to bring you back down to 0. Not a good plan. All right, so now we got that. We're going to sit at about 1,500 feet because that's a good distance to be above the ground for these sightseeing things that we're doing. And that's pretty much it. So the way these work is I'll read off the point of interest that we're flying to. Then we'll fly to that point of interest, look around for a second, and then I'll read off the next one. So our first destination today is Wilmington. Back in the air, follow the Delaware River into the state of Delaware and to the city of Wilmington. Wow, that was riveting information, isn't it? Take a quick look at our aircraft that we're in right now, as well as the area that we're taking off from. Not too shabby. One of these days I'll be able to record in a higher resolution and it'll look even better, but for now this is good enough. Good enough. Realistically, if you guys are coming back to these videos, you're coming back because you like the commentary and not necessarily the flying. I'm not exactly the best pilot. Flying over an inner marker, it looks like, based off of the little flashing eye down there on the screen. Okay, so looks like we have about, 5 minutes or so until we get to our next destination. So I got to come up with something to talk about. I'm not really sure. For now, let's look around the cockpit and see if we can find that information that I was looking for as far as our pitch trim. I don't know where... Because like on a Cessna, you'll have you have a pitch trim wheel, and it will show you where the setting is. But And there's a rudder trim indicator, excuse me, over there on the center console. But, oh, okay, here we go. Now I know where it is. We're only going to fly this thing one more time, but at least now I know where it is. Oh, whatever. Okay. Anyways, flying over this cool-looking bridge, I really wish that they had put a little bit more effort into, you know, putting some adjustments into these bridges to take away the... They're using Google Maps to do this, so obviously the satellite isn't able to see under the bridge. So, you know, they still could have said, had something in there that recognized, oh, that's a bridge. Let's make sure that we're taking out the other part of it so it doesn't look like it's ridiculous like this. There are certain specific bridges that they've gone through and modeled in the game manually, such as the Coronado Bridge out in San Diego, or the San Francisco Bridge in San Francisco, or, you know, some of the more prominent bridges out there. But if it isn't like a landmark kind of thing, or, you know, a point of interest kind of thing, you're just gonna get you're just gonna get that kind of thing where it looks like this. So it looks more like a wall than a bridge. It's unfortunate, and I have to imagine that they could implement some kind of subroutine that would fix that, but I guess it's not something that bugs people enough that they decided to invest the amount of time and effort required to do that. Let me pull back on this throttle a little bit, because we have our engine put up just a little bit too quickly, and while it's okay for us to be in that yellow zone, I like to try to simulate a little bit, having some kind of reasonable realism in our... Well, I don't know. Load 103%. I mean, the RPM isn't up in the red range. I mean, I'm guessing the computer controls this stuff pretty well, so it's not like we're doing a bunch of turning, and there's no turbulence or anything, so we might as well max it out then. Make this trip take just a little bit less time. Traveling at 175, 180 knots is obviously going to get us places much faster than traveling at 160. So this Northeast Megalopolis bush trip has been pretty cool. I think it's been interesting enough. But you know, we're gonna do the California Dreaming one next, unless I get a significant number of people commenting, letting me know, hey, we want to see this one. Never mind, go do this one instead. But I have to say that my flight simming stuff, it hasn't reached the level of some of my other content that I've been doing, because it's you know, it's quite a bit newer than the other things that I've been doing. It'd be nice if it kind of takes off. I'm trying to get multiple different series started and hopefully established and get them to the point where there's enough people watching each of them that it all adds up into, you know, significant viewership over the course of time. So I have an audience that's interested in my flight sim stuff, and an audience that's interested in my trucking stuff, and an audience that's interested in my hunting stuff and my Elite Dangerous stuff, and, you know, you gotta just like you have to diversify things in the real world to, you know, make sure you have different sources of income. You also need to diversify your content so that you can build the widest possible audience. And that's what I've kind of been trying to do. It takes a long time to build up a series and have it gain traction and build up enough people that are interested in it and who actually return to watch it and all of that cool stuff. So, you know what it is. All right, so I think we're flying over Wilmington here. Got about 2 miles until our checkpoint. So let's go ahead and hop outside the cockpits, because if we had a better plane, I wouldn't be doing this, but because the cockpit here sucks so bad, we're just going to hop out and look around. What is that? Looks like a little farm field. Looks like little rotating irrigation arms or whatever they're called. So this is Wilmington. They didn't tell us anything about it, so I don't know. I'm not sure why it's a point of interest, other than it's just a VFR waypoint, probably. All right, next up is going to be Elkton. From Wilmington, follow the northeast corridor into Maryland and to the city of Elkton. Unfortunately, yeah, because when you're doing VFR flying in the real world, you're basically trying to find things that are within visual distance that you can just do a hop from one place to another. So I'm assuming that the reason why a lot of these waypoints or these points of interest were selected are because you could feasibly see them from the air and you know, home in on them as a step on the way towards whatever your destination is. which kind of sucks when you're trying to do content creation for this, because there's nothing interesting to talk about. So you fly over something and you're like, oh, it's a city. Oh, it's another city. It's like, well, not much I can do about that. The points are what the points are. I did have some people that were interested in the previous series that I was doing, but not at the time that I was doing it. By the time anybody said anything about it, I had already given up on that series like months ago. Months ago at the time that they left the comment. They were like, oh man, I'm really enjoying this. I hope you do some more videos. And I was like, oh, well, yeah, I haven't been making Microsoft Flight Simulator videos for a while now. But I was doing a Baja California trip going from San Diego all the way down to Cabo San Lucas, and I was most of the way there, but nobody was watching it, and I was like, oh, I'm not going to keep making these videos if nobody's interested. It's, you know, I can find other things to do with my time. That's the thing about YouTube, is you got to be pragmatic about how you're spending your time. Spend your time on the videos that are actually going to grow the channel and hopefully lead to income, because nobody likes to talk about money, but if you're going to be going after YouTube as a professional career, you got to have that money at maybe not the forefront of your mind, but up there towards the front of the bus. You have to be making decisions that are, you know, advancing that agenda. And if you're not, you're going to be struggling to have anything happen for you that you want. Down to 9 miles. I'm trying to think of things to talk about, because I know that for anybody who sticks around for these videos, that's the reason why they stick around. I've had that said to me more than once for some of my other stuff, like my Elite Dangerous and my trucking stuff. I've had people say, yeah, man, we stick around because we like the commentary. So, I don't know. Usually I kind of ramble on until I stumble across a subject, and that usually works for me. But as I've said during many of these flights, this is the last video that I record for the day, every day, and it typically suffers from the fact that I'm kind of getting burnt out towards the end. I actually did end up having to reduce my video production schedule just a little bit, because I started realizing that 5 videos a day was just a little bit past the line of what I can maintain focus for. After that 4th video, I'm pretty much burnt out and done. And I decided that since I had 2 trucking videos that I was doing American Truck Simulator and Euro Truck Simulator, I was like, well, you know, it's the same content just in different places, and if I'm going to cut something, then it has to be one of these. And because I like the American Truck Simulator much better than the European Truck Simulator, I was like, well, let me set Euro Truck Simulator aside. We'll do 4 videos a day. We'll do the Hunter Call of the Wild. We'll do American Truck Simulator, Elite Dangerous, and Microsoft Flight Simulator. And, you know, we'll do that for a while. I'm going to continue to make these videos for a month or so just to see if the viewership starts to grow. And what really lets me know if people are interested in a series are, first and foremost, is it getting the watch time that I need to let me know, oh yeah, they're actually interested in this. There's enough people watching enough of the video that, you know, we're gaining some significant watch time out of it. And then the other side of it is, are you guys leaving comments? Are you guys letting me know that you enjoy the series? Because too many people watch videos and then they click off and there's no interaction or anything like that. And, you know, if you're not getting watch time and nobody's leaving any comments at all, then it starts to become like, well, I don't think anybody's interested in this particular thing. Either they're not interested in the game, or they're not interested in the way I'm presenting it, or whatever, and I just need to find something else to do with my time and find another video. And that's kind of where I am with my channel right now in general. It's just, I got to keep trying different things and finding video series that I can put together that are, you know, growing the channel and contributing significantly to my watch time. I don't think a lot of viewers understand that when you click on a video, watch 5 seconds of it, and then click off, that actually affects the metric of that channel quite a lot. And it would be nice if more people understood that, so that they would be a little bit more judicious in what they click on. Because if you click on a video thinking, oh yeah, I'll check this out, and then you just click off after 5 seconds, that actually does hurt that creator quite a bit. Alright, so the next one is, I don't even know how you say this, Havre de Grace? De Grace? I don't know. Havre de Grace? Stay to the south of the northeast corridor and cross the Susquehanna River to arrive at whatever this Harbor of Grace, okay, which lies at the head of the Chesapeake Bay. It's another 12 miles away. So right now I'm experiencing one of the reasons why I decided I needed to cut a video. My throat is really starting to become uncomfortable after all the talking that I've been doing for the last few hours. Drinking some water, but I'm not much of a talker in my personal time. So sitting down and trying to do video after video after video where I'm doing extensive amounts of talking, and not just talking, but talking in a manner that is more performative in nature than how I would actually talk in a regular conversation. Because, you know, I can't just sit here and have a conversation like this where I'm talking to you normally and it just sounds like I'm having a quiet conversation with somebody. No, you guys want to have some kind of, you know, dynamic voice that's talking to you, because that's more interesting to listen to for extended periods of time. That's why when you hear people that are on the radio, or you're listening to a podcast, or whatever it is, all of the successful ones, they're not shouting, but they're speaking much louder than they would in a much more energetic way than they might if they were just having a normal conversation with somebody. So while it would be nice to be able to just sit here and just kind of, you know, mumble around and not have to perform, well, YouTube is a performance art. So you gotta be willing to turn up your interesting meter a fair bit on your voice, and that's just it's taxing. It's taxing on your voice to talk in this way for extended periods of time. I've been doing this for months now, and I'm still struggling to get through however many hours it's been since I started this morning. It just is what it is. So let me take another drink of water here. My throat's really starting to hurt a little bit. Okay. So that does lead me to a topic of conversation that I could bring up. Speaking of performance, I think one of the reasons why I'm an introvert, right? I don't like dealing with people. I don't like being in situations where I have to be on display, or where there's just a lot of people I have to deal with and I have to be sociable. You know, I'm not a social. I mean, we're all social to some extent. We're human beings. Human beings are social animals, but some of us are more social than others, and some of us are very much less social than others, and I fall on that end of the spectrum. However, I did spend most of the first half of my life in a performance setting because I was a musician. I did band in high school, and I did a year of college for music education before joining the United States Marine Corps as a musician. And I spent 11 years of my life performing as a professional musician for the United States Marine Corps. And, you know, it was a really cool gig. It was a really cool thing to do. There were a lot of parts of it that I really liked, and a lot of parts of it I really did not. And as you might imagine, the music parts, the performance parts, the events parts were the parts that I mostly liked. And the Marine Corps side of things were the parts that, you know, didn't sit so well with me. You know, the Marine Corps side of things were kind of what I put up with to be able to have that life as a professional musician, to get paid to do something I was good at and mostly enjoyed doing. But, you know, you have to make compromises in life, and that's kind of what I had to do. We'll get back to this story in just a second, because we are heading off to the next area. Take a look at Harbor of Grace, or whatever you say, however it was pronounced. All right. I mean, these areas look all the same. It's one of the reasons why these bush trips in heavily populated areas aren't exactly the most fun. All right, next up is Aberdeen. Continue following the northeast corridor to the city of Aberdeen, Maryland, which lies on the outskirts of Baltimore. And then after that will be our airport. But anyways, as I was saying, now I am extremely proud to have served as a Marine, and I will, you know, I'm never going to look back on that time with any kind of regret. I'm proud of some of the things I did on the Marine Corps side of things, from, you know, becoming an expert rifle marksman to, you know, getting high scores on physical fitness tests at certain points. I really struggled with the physical fitness aspect of all of that, because I'm kind of lazy, and I don't want to do PT, which is physical training. I like to chill on my couch and play video games, and that's what I like to do. So I always ended up struggling with that because I never really wanted to put the work in on the physical side of things, and in the end, that's kind of what got me out in the first out. That's kind of what got me out, is that my body started not being able to handle that. I don't think it's because I didn't train enough. It's just my body started being like, nope, we're not doing this anymore. And I developed a physical problem in my legs that prevented me from running. So, yeah, that kind of sucked. But, I say all of that mostly just to kind of illustrate how if you're involved in something for a long time, that kind of becomes a part of who you are. And, as much as I don't like being in situations where I have to be around people and where I have to put on a face that looks good, I'm used to it because I spent pretty much the entire first half of my adult life doing that. You know what I mean? Like, from the age of 19 to 30, I was in a performance setting where I always had to be behaving in a way where I had to understand that people were watching me and people were judging, and it's just the musician side of the Marine Corps is very anal retentive. You get in that situation and everything is looked at, and just uniform prep from a ceremonial unit compared to a fleet unit. You're walking around in your camouflage uniform, and it has to not be wrinkled, and it has to be looking sharp and nice and all of that other stuff, because you never know who's watching. It's a very stressful environment to live in, I must say. It's a very stressful environment to live in. So, that side of it, there was a lot to that side of the Marine Corps music thing that just really made me struggle, and I was frustrated a lot, and I didn't have a lot of patience for a lot of the different things, especially because in the music field, there's kind of two aspects of that. There's first and foremost the fact that all of the other units, all of the other jobs in the Marine Corps, whether they admit it or not, will always look at you as, oh, it's the band Marines. It's the band Marines. We're all Marines. We all went through the same training. We all did all of those things. Everything that they had to do, we have to do. But because our day job is playing music, they're like, oh, this is the band Marines. So there is an element of that, even though the officer corps generally looks at the band as a valuable asset and they love the hell out of us. But the enlisted side, not so much. And then there's also the fact that there is sort of like an imposter syndrome / inferiority complex within the music field as a whole, because we allow ourselves, I never did. I always knew I was a Marine just like everybody else. I never had that problem. But there's a lot of people who overcompensate in the music field because they're afraid to be looked at as not a real Marine. And it's like, dude, you gotta chill, man. You really gotta chill. Like, a lot of the leadership really made life hard because they were trying to come across as hard. They were trying to come across as tough and like, yeah, we're Marines, rah, 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 rah. It's like, ugh, can you chill out, man? Can you chill out? It's a real struggle to deal with personalities like that. And when you're low down on the totem pole and the people up top are like that, you're like, I wish I could just tell you to shut up, but I can't, because you're gonna get me in trouble. Unfortunately, in the Marine Corps, you sign away a fair number of rights that you would normally have as a civilian, and you can go to jail for things that you would never have to go to jail for as just a regular person. So you have to start making decisions as to which things you're going to make a stink about and which things you're not, because if you make a stink about the wrong thing and people get irritated enough with you, it's not going to go well. It's not going to go well for you at all. So I don't know. It was a relief when I got out. There are a lot of things that I miss about it. I was a year or two, maybe 3 away from becoming a drum major. I had been doing that I'd also been doing that for a significant portion of my time in the Marine Corps. I was the assistant drum major for 3 different bands and the acting drum major for 2 different bands, and I was actually the acting enlisted conductor for the Marine band at San Diego for a few months, because our guy went on deployment and they needed somebody to step in, and I had gone to the music unit leader course at the School of Music in Virginia. So I had all of the qualifications. I had the rank that I needed. I was a staff sergeant. I was a year or two away from gunnery sergeant. But then the medical problems started cropping up, and they wanted to slice up my leg, and I was like, I don't think I want to spend the rest of my life like that. So how about we just do that medical discharge? I think I can live with that. And I was at a very what's the word I'm looking for? It was a very difficult time in my life, just because, you know, I was struggling with my own attitude, and I was struggling with a lot of things that were going on in my personal life, and I was struggling with all of the stuff that was going on, you know, dealing with the Marine Corps and all of that other stuff, and I was ready to be done. So by that point, the option of, yeah, how about we just do that medical discharge? I can live with that. That was kind of my attitude at the time. Using the Northeast Corridor as a guide, fly over the Bush River and then Gunpowder River and land at Martin State Airport. So we're going to go ahead and start checking this out. How much longer until we get to this? So it's going to be the airport over this little inlet right here. Can we see that from here? Not really. We can see this stuff right here. That's what this is. So we're going to be looking for another body of water that comes in, and it's going to be the airport right next to that. I'm confused. Where's the... Oh, wait. Did I... Oh. Okay. That was dumb. We just flew over the airport we were supposed to land at because I got too busy talking and lost track of what waypoint we were on. So we're gonna spin back around, bleed off some airspeed here, and then figure out where we need to land, because I just messed that up. I was like, we're flying over an airport now. That's a weird waypoint. So let's get our pitch trim fixed so I can take a look at this. Okay, so it's the airport in front of us, and we need to come in to the right there. So this episode would have been over probably a couple minutes ago if I hadn't spaced out like that. I got too zoned out into talking about random stuff and wasn't paying attention. So I gotta use my keyboard here so I can actually see, because I have different keybinds for my camera snapping there. Make sure we're not slowing down too much. Get some altitude back, because I think 500 is probably a little slow. Or probably a little low, sorry. 500 is probably a little low. Let's check our alignment here. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and get our flaps down and our gear down. Because we should be slow enough for all of that. We'll get lined up with the runway, and then hopefully I won't have a stupid slam landing here, but no way to know until we try. Double check and make sure our gear went down. Because I did have a flight a few flights ago where I did press the button for the landing gear to come down, but it didn't actually respond, and we ended up landing on our belly there. Trying to adjust my pitch trim as we land to get a nice smooth landing here. A bit more power. Okay. Pitch up a little bit because we're nose down too far. I think we may be landing okay here. I think we'll be okay. struggling to control the throttle here. The way the throttle works on this plane is very unintuitive to me. Okay, now we're down. Obviously that wasn't the best landing ever, but at least we got down and it worked out. So hopefully you guys had lots of fun. Be sure to click that like button so the YouTube algorithm knows that you did and sends the video out to more viewers. The more we can get flying along on these flights, the better. Subscribe to the channel if you're not already so that when the next video comes out, it will show up in your feed and you will be able to watch the video as soon as it becomes available. Channel members do get early access to all of my videos, so be sure to click that join button down below. Check out the list of features available at the various tiers available and decide if any of those are right for you because you want to support the channel. Again, thank you very much for your time. I hope you guys had lots of fun, and I'll see you for the next one.